What is going on, everyone? And welcome back to another Sports Talk on Tap video. We're here. You can find daily videos Monday through Friday covering all the major sports leagues, NHL, NBA, NFL, MLB, you name it, whether it be games, highlights, news, tier lists, all that fun stuff. And in honor of it being NBA draft night, it's only fair, for starters, that we talk about the draft and just, kind of a look back of, history of the first overall picks, because obviously that is the most important. And boy, we got a list here. A lot of great players, a lot of, not so great players. But that's what the draft is going to be tonight. We're going to get some studs. We're going to get some duds. That's just the way the draft works with all these players. But either way, it's an exciting time because it's new hope for every team, that you can get some player to come in and make an immediate impact or, change the franchise possibly. So with that, Nick, I say the 2020s are a little bit hard to grade for Wemby and stuff, the most recent number one overall pick. But based on how he looked at the end of his rookie season, I think he came in second in Defensive Player of the Year voting as a rookie, rightfully so. I know you wanted him first, but, that's neither here nor there. I forgave you. But I'd still – one of the best rookie seasons. I think he's going to be a dog. I don't think there is any other grade to give him than an A.
Yeah, I would give him an A too. I mean, people were calling him like the most sought after prospect since LeBron. So anytime you can get
that's crazy hype to live up to, but
it is. But I mean, last year he seemed like he was living up to the hype with how good he was playing, and it seems like he's only going to get better.
If he picks up where he left off, I will say, like, the first couple of months, he kind of looked a little bit uncomfortable, and that's when Chet was actually making a run for Rookie of the Year. Mm-hmm. But then the second half of Wemby's season just kind of, pulled it away unanimously. Right. Was playing amazing defense, was finally getting a shot down. So, yeah, dude's going to be a dog. Excited to see where he picks up. Next one, Paulo Banchero. Can't believe this was already a couple of years ago. But the way he led the Magic to the playoffs as their number one option, the fifth seed, the way he really improved this year. I think he was an all-star, 23 points per game, really solid defense, was like the only player in the league to lead his team in points, rebounds, and assists. That alone, I got to give this dude probably an A as well, maybe an A minus, but that's an A hit for Orlando.
Yeah, I know you said it's early for the 2010s just because of how young these guys are, or not the 2010s, the 2020s.
Yeah.
But I honestly would give all of these teams an A, including the Pistons. I know the Pistons are bad, but Cade looks like he's been getting better every year. And if they get him some help, maybe he can sneak them in as a plan.
I can't give him an A. Even though the Pistons are a miserable organization, he's still kind of been a little bit inefficient. It's just I can't give him an A just because that pick doesn't match up with these other three in this list. And that's not Cade's fault.
What would you give him, a B plus or a B?
Yeah, because I think, if things were different, maybe he is an A, but he's still inefficient, and maybe it's the team around him. He's been put into a weird spot. Obviously, Detroit, not the best team. But, because when you look, Ann Edwards is obviously an A, and then Paul and Vic. I think those all just have to be A's. And then, I'd go Cade B, B plus, because he, like you said, he has gotten better, but that, I don't know. I just haven't seen enough, obviously, to prove. And all these guys have proven something, whether it be Wembanyama almost like Defensive Player of the Year, looking like having the best rookie season, or Paul leading his team to the playoffs, or Ant going to the WCF. I need to see something out of Cade like that before I move him into the A talks.
All right. Did Cade win Rookie of the Year? I'm trying to remember. I want to say he did, but
he did.
I want to say he did, but Here, I'll take a look at the draft class real quick.
I mean, I don't really take too much relevance to that because LaMelo Ball won it over Anthony Edwards.
Whoa. This is just the draft class from Cade's.
No. It was Scotty Barnes that won the Rookie of the Year award.
Okay, yeah.
So, shout out Scotty. Great player. And I saw a report that he intends to sign his rookie Supermax with
massive deal.
Toronto, so that'll be clutch. All right. Now moving in to 2019, Zion Williamson, when we talk about hype, him and Wemby were right neck and neck with each other. If you remember the hype coming with Zion at Duke. When Zion plays, he's an A, but that's when he plays. So and I think there's a famous quote: the best availability the best ability is availability. And Zion just doesn't have that. So that alone, I got to bring him down to a B+ because he's never healthy on the court for me to prove that he can, lead a team to a deep playoff run or anything like that. And a guy I want to build around. Whether it's his fault or not, injuries, do suck, but it's just can't do it, man. Can't, give someone an A that doesn't play most of the season.
I agree. I would even argue he could be a B because of how little he has played. I mean,
yeah, I said around B+. Yeah,
he's like you said, when he's on the court, he's unbelievable. Like he's a tank. But if he's playing 30 games a year, like you're no good to your team doing that. So that brings him down to probably like a middle B for me, even just because has he played one full season yet? Maybe his rookie year. I can't remember.
Yeah. His rookie year is still injured. So it's just kind of a whole mess there. But if he could stay healthy, like we signed the playing tournament, 41 points, absolute unit. Next pick, DeAndre. And DeAndre got his career off to a slow start. Then once Chris Paul came, really elevated his game into a top 5 center, was a beast on the defensive end and offensive end, was just really good. But then after that, it's kind of gone back downhill. Now he's with Portland. He gets the points, but in Portland, but it's definitely not number 1 overall pick hype. I would definitely go like C.
Yeah.
Because he's going to make a career in this league, which alone is better than some of these people.
I remember like being high on DeAndre Ayton. I thought he was going to be gross. And, when the Suns made their finals run and stuff, I thought like he was just going to keep going up. And yeah, he's kind of just gone straight downhill after that. So I'm with you. I'd say like C.
DeAndre Ayton's peak may have been from the bubble, because you remember the bubble Suns where they didn't lose and they went like 9-0,
right.
Almost with the playoffs. Then the next year, the 2 seed go to the finals. Then the next year, the 1 seed. And then it all went downhill in that Dallas Mavericks series where he gets benched in Game 7 and then just kind of doesn't recover. A year out is shipped because the Suns don't want to pay him, even though they give him that extension. So it's just been kind of a whole mess. Yeah, I mean, basically make a career, which, alone of itself, I think is worth a C grade.
Yeah.
Next guy, Markelle Fultz. I mean, if you're a 76ers fan, you're giving this an F. But kind of similar to DeAndre in a way, Markelle has actually kind of made a nice role as the Magic, just like play solid role player for the Magic. He plays some good defense, kind of do a little bit of everything. He obviously is a number 1 overall pick considering Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum were in this draft. So that alone puts a lot of pressure. But he is a solid role player on the Magic, and he's going to make a career in this league. So that alone, I think, rewards him like a C- around there.
Yeah, I would put C- too. This was the draft where the Celtics traded away that pick to drop down to 3. And at the time, like Markelle Fultz was the pick. Like he was the best player going into the draft. So it's like, it's not like any of these teams messed up and like just took the wrong guy. Like it's just sometimes guys don't pan out. And, he went through that, unfortunate stint in Philadelphia where he like couldn't find his jumper anymore. And it kind of like was tough to watch because you saw, all the other guys behind him balling out. And then he just couldn't, he like wasn't playing because he couldn't play. But he has, reshaped his career and he's going to be in the league for a little bit just because he's no longer trying to be that, number 1 overall pick guy. And he's just kind of being that role player. But, when you're picking number 1 overall, you don't want to be picking for a role player. So just because of that, you got to give him like a C.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just saying for the Magic, it's probably like free money just because you signed a good role player now. Next team. Our next player, Ben Simmons, the 2017 Rookie of the Year, actually. That was an infamous debate. Boy, when his career started, could have argued the trajectory of A. But then injuries, that Atlanta Hawks playoff series really did him in where he wouldn't shoot a wide-open layup. I think he's probably, even though his peak was like higher than Markel Fultz and maybe DeAndre Ayton, I think his fall off.
He was really good. He was really good before, you know.
He was really good for like 3-4 years, but he isn't anything since then. I mean, do we give him the respect of what he did for those couple of years and go like C minus, or his trajectory, just injuries? He's not the same player at all now. He's just bad now.
I mean, does he even play anymore? I mean,
He was with the Nets last year. Like,
yeah, but like how many games did he play last year? I just can't remember him playing. I am giving him the respect of like his good days in Philly, because when he was good, he was unreal. I remember watching him. And, you know, I even see TikToks still show up on my phone of like old talk shows talking about like how they were saying he was going to rival as the next LeBron just because of like his physical skill set. And
that alone makes me want to move him down more.
It was pretty much Colin Cowherd. That guy's kind of
as good as he was. You can't rival someone when you can't shoot.
That's what they were saying. They're like, once he gets his jumper, he's going to be the next LeBron. And I'm like, this age, like this.
I remember seeing like infamous clips of him hitting a couple threes in the offseason. It's like Ben Simmons developing a 3-point jump shot. It's like, boy, like that ain't happening. Yeah, for that one, I guess we can give no respect of his really good years for those couple and go C minus. But after that, boy,
hang on? So do we want to split it up? I know we could have done this for a bunch of teams, but I feel like it almost feels like he had two separate careers with the Sixers and then with the Nets. Like the Nets, he's just been bad, but at least with the Sixers, he had some really good years. I mean, I'm
just kind of basing it on projection and what they've done overall. Like Markel Fultz, it's the same thing. Sixers awful, Magic pretty good, but like, you know, just kind of where I think it's all about the pick overall, like what the player is now, in my opinion.
All right, then yeah, we can call like a C or C minus.
Yeah, Philly until the end, because the end was really bad in that Hawks series. You could go like B, because it was an A for those first couple of years, but then that last year was really bad, especially in the playoffs.
He was all defensive first team in back-to-back years too. So like, yeah. I'm pretty sure he led the league in steals like back-to-back years. Just went downhill.
Next player, my guy, Karl Anthony Towns. Arguably, you know, great shooter. Has always been a good scorer. Definitely, you know, has carved himself out at times. You know, top 25 player. He's probably, you know, top 30, somewhere around there. He's just a very good he's a skilled offensive big 50-40-90 guy and much improved defense. But you know, he obviously like can't be a number one on your team. For me though, I mean, just alone from this, I would, you know, give Karl like a solid A minus. He's been he's been a good player in this league.
Yeah, I'd say A, around A or A. I wouldn't put him nearly as low as those guys. Like he's actually he's been good throughout his career. I mean, there was points where I thought he was the best center in the league just because of
that height. I get that height because he was a really good scorer. But I would say this past season was his best season overall because he was very efficient shooting the ball and his defense took a huge leap, which, you know, a lot of people don't, you know, like that because of the box score and whatever that be. But I mean, we saw in the Nuggets series, him on Jokic was giving Jokic fits. Him on KD was giving KD fits. So that alone, it impressed me the most, even if he wasn't scoring 25 points per game and was instead doing 20. Just really efficient basketball until the Maverick series, of course, that is. But overall, he's a really, really good player. So I'd go A minus, however, you know.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking just like the A's, Wembanyama, Edwards, like he's just not on that level, but overall like a good pick, and like you'd probably redo it again. I think Jokic was in that draft second round, so obviously you pick Jokic, but at the time Karl was by far the best player, and he did a good job living up to it. Just some players like Jokic and Embiid passed him. Next player, Andrew Wiggins, one of the most controversial ones. Timberwolves was a dog for those first couple of years until he signed his rookie max extension, where then he just kind of turned lazy, just like a scorer, like mid-range shooter, wasn't really efficient. Needed to change of scenery, went to Golden State, helped them win a championship, and was a huge part of that reason. He was making a lot of shots. He was clamping Tatum's ass in that series. So that alone, like, I got to give him his respect for that. You know, he's going to be like a solid role player with the Warriors or wherever he goes after. And just that finals, what he did in the finals alone makes me want to give him the respect, even though, like, you know, he didn't do it consistently at all and was inefficient a lot. I got to give him his respect for what he did and go probably like A- because his peak was higher than like Ben Simmons or, you know, even Carl. You know, he literally was the reason why Golden State won a championship, and that and Steph Curry going ballistic. But Andrew Wiggins was the second best player on that team.
Okay. I can see where you put it. I would have said like a B, maybe B plus, just because like he kind of went up and then down and then up and down. But like he's been consistent. I just don't know if it's like number one overall material. Because like when you're the number one overall pick, like you gotta be the guy.
Yeah, no, I do agree. That's maybe too little too high. I'd still go B plus though, because when you help, no matter if you're dog shit for 10 years, but you help your team solely win a championship one season, and Andrew Wiggins is obviously some dog shit. He was solid. But just I just remember just that Celtics series, he was so locked in and really shut up a lot of the haters. And I mean, people just talk about Jason Tatum sucking in that finals, but it was Andrew Wiggins being really good on defense and locked in, and also hitting his shots really good. So
that year was his only All-Star year too.
Yeah.
Just kind of wild.
And he had a good couple of first years with the Timberwolves was really, you know, the highlight. And that's when people thought Carl and Wiggins were going to be, you know, the next duo, great duo. But obviously then he did get kind of lazy. But then he transformed into Golden State. So got to give him his love somewhere. So, yeah, maybe B plus is fair. Anthony Bennett, F. I mean,
yep, F.
We
don't even need to go into it. F.
Yep. Anthony Davis, same thing. Don't need to really talk about it. A.
Yeah.
If he was fully healthy, would be scary. Yeah. Kyrie with
kind of
his
folded.
shot.
I mean, I know, you know, they traded Andrew Wiggins and all that, but they had, you know, 3 out of 4 first overall picks, and they hit on one of them. I mean, Wiggins they traded, but
yeah, well, I mean, if you look at that, it was for Kevin Love, I believe. So, I mean, Kevin Love did help you win a ring. So they probably, I'll give them credit and say they hit on 2 of those. Because Kevin Love was a huge number 3 to that spot. But Kyrie, obviously, great player. A. John Wall, I'm going A- because
I would say, I was going to say around A because he was so good.
Really good. But, you know, he doesn't have the longevity of Kyrie because after they lost to, like, the Celtics in that 2017, like, second round, it was a really good series, like 7 games. Just kind of wasn't the same. And then just kind of, you know, quick list going back to 2000s, just some quick speed run. Blake Griffin, obviously, peak was great. Derrick Rose, MVP. Greg Oden. And then, obviously, you know, scroll down a little bit, you see LeBron James. That's probably like a B. Dwight Howard.
He hasn't really done much.
Dwight Howard's peak was crazy with the Magic and did carve out a long career. Yao Ming, really good player as well. Kwame Brown, definitely an A. Overall, though, you know, so I mean, Alex Sarr, Dominic Klingon, whoever gets picked tonight, how will their history go down on this list? Because for better or for worse, this is a huge group to be a part of, and a lot of expectations that comes with it because a lot of these guys were dogs. But, you know, with that being said, it should be exciting no matter what, because at least tonight, people think they are changing the franchise. And it's going to be interesting. But with that being said, to kind of wrap up this segment, wouldn't be right if we didn't talk about it. The Mikal Bridges trade goes down last night, where the Brooklyn Nets and New York Knicks, 2 rivals, make a huge trade where Mikal Bridges is now going to the Knicks for Bojan Bogdanovic, 4 unprotected first-round picks, I believe it's like top 5 protected first-round picks from the Bucks, a pick swap and a second rounder. I think the Knicks also got a second rounder in their part. Boy.
You can
For people
tell
that
me if I'm talking out of my ass. Is there any player in the league besides like Jokic, Embiid, LeBron, maybe not even LeBron, who is worth 5 first-round picks?
I would say
Is
depends on how
Mikal
you look
Bridges
at it.
worth 5 first-round picks?
Depends how you look at it. I mean, do you remember the Rudy Gobert trade 2 seasons ago? This was like almost the exact same package. I think it was like 4 unprotected first-round picks and some players. Is Rudy Gobert's worth actually 4 or 5, first round picks? That's up for people to debate because analytics say top 10 player in the world, but obviously his offensive game is limited. Defensive win shares overall as a player, Nick. He's right behind Jokic, Embiid, those kind of players. So Gobert's impact, kind of unseen. I think we're seeing a little bit of that with Mikal Bridges because Mikal Bridges on the Phoenix Suns was one great defender, great 3-and-D guy. But I don't know. Do they keep OG Anunoby now? That's the big question mark I'm looking at. So did you give up all this capital to just trade for Mikal Bridges when you just could have re-signed OG Anunoby? Because if OG Anunoby doesn't re-sign, this trade is an F. I don't know what the hell you were doing because they're basically the same player, 3-and-D guy. OG probably even might be slightly the better defender. I mean, however you want to look at it. Mikal might be the slightly better offensive player. I don't know. But they're around the same tier level to me. And then if you re-sign him, though, that's when things get interesting because then you have 2 great 3-and-D guys that are lengthy that could give a team like the Celtics problems. So it really comes down to that for me. That's what I'm looking at. But if they do keep OG Anunoby and they do this, they're going all in, and I can kind of respect it more. Still maybe a lot to give up, but I'd give it more so like a B- grade if they are able to keep the core together of OG and him.
I mean, yeah, I'll let you, cover it more because you have more knowledge on it. But I mean, when I first saw it on my phone and I saw 5 first-round picks, I'm like, I just don't know if that's worth it for anybody. But I mean, hey, if they go out there, if the Knicks win the chip next year, hey, it's worth it. It's worth every penny. It's always worth every penny. Same with the Timberwolves. If the Timberwolves go out there and win a chip and, Rudy's a huge piece in that, then it's an A no matter what. Like, the end goal is a chip. And this is going to make their team better. But like you just said, if they don't re-sign OG, then it's kind of all for nothing. So.
No, I do agree. If OG doesn't re-sign, boy, this trade is looking awful. But either way, something interesting. The Knicks get the Villanova boys back together that won the 2017 championship. Mikal, Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, Brunson. So they're kind of seeing, can a college team win a championship almost challenge?
Yeah.
Because that team dominated. As much as we talk about UConn and that stuff, boy, that team was unreal.
Yeah, Villanova was like, so, I mean, for a little bit, the UConn before UConn, because for like.
Oh yeah, they won 2 championships in like 3 years.
Yep.
No, that team would probably be like those UConn teams that won the last 2 years. That team is arguably.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, no, I think that Villanova team and obviously some of the earlier college teams are looked at as one of the greatest. That Villanova team, 2017, is looked at as one of the greatest college teams of all time. I think as dominant as UConn was, I don't think it was. I mean, they're really good, but I don't know if that's one of the greatest teams of all time. I would take, I still think personally, 2015 Kentucky's the greatest team of all time. But
hey, they didn't win the chip though.
It happens. I mean, Frank Kaminsky beat them, but when a team has Devin Booker coming off the bench, oh my gosh! Like in college, that's crazy. And shout out though. Obviously, Knicks making big moves to try and push the Celtics over the edge, and this is a trade where you're going to get a great 3-and-D wing guy. But yeah, all eyes are on what OG Anunoby happens, and all eyes are on draft night because we know trades are about to go down We know all these next 2 days. But Nick, we're going to be here to cover it because this is the exciting time where everything's going down. But obviously the Knicks get a really good player, give up a lot. Credit to the Nets. If I'm the Nets, this is an A move regardless because Mikal's a great player, but we talked about, I think it was yesterday, how they didn't have any picks. They just got a shit ton of picks. So, and then they also have, eventually like the KD trade back coming up the rear with those picks in a couple of years. So overall, give this a solid A for the Nets. If OG resigns, like B- for the Knicks. If OG doesn't resign, D or F.
Okay. Yeah, it's a win-win for the Nets, no matter what.
I will say though, Mikal Bridges, one thing, he's always healthy.
He's always playing 82 games. I mean, he's got that games played streak, doesn't he?
Yeah. So
I don't know what it's
that's one thing. Like you're looking at him versus OG. Mikal always healthy and always available. So it's a credit to Mikal. So with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe because we're going to have a lot of good NBA content flowing out these next couple of days with trades and all that fun stuff. And draft night tonight, we'll see what teams do. Should be an exciting time, and we'll be here to recap it tomorrow. But with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.